Hi everyone, welcome back, and we have tonight's fourth speaker of the evening. Please give a warm welcome to Zion Oshiobugie with his talk, It's an Inside Job.
So raise your hands if you've ever had to tell a young person to clean their rooms. You know, sometimes you say it once, you say it twice, then you walk away, you come back, and then you have to say it the 40th time. Some people beg, some people incentivize, some people do so much just to get a young person to clean their rooms. But then that same young person goes out for like a sleepover or go out with their friends, and then somebody tells you that, you know, your boy or your girl is so great. They helped us clean the house, you know, and you're wondering, who is that person? And can I get to keep them? But you see, young people really listen. They might not just show it in front of the people that they really love or people that are their parents or guardians. But every time a young person feels seen by someone else, they tend to be at their best. When they feel seen, they take everything you've taught them at home, everything you've been saying, and they put it to practice. You see, that's the job I do. I help young people feel seen. You see, because I understand that real change cannot be downloaded from the internet. Real change is not a TikTok trend. Real change when it comes to young people is an identity shift. For so long, we've been trying to tell young people, sit up straight. When you go out, you know, make eye contact with people. Do your CV very well. Can I see your link? Do you have a LinkedIn profile? We try to do everything and train the what of the young person, but never focus on the who. Real change when it comes to young people is an inside job. Confidence, clarity, resilience, whatever you're trying to get to see outside of a young person, you must help them discover that they have it inside of them. So maybe as adults, we've been trying to do it outside in instead of inside out. And when we try to do this backwards, the young people, they don't feel seen. People see me today and they tell me, you know, Zion, I like the fact that you work with so many young people. You know, Zion, I like the fact that you've been a youth mentor for over 2 decades. They tell me things like that. And true to how they say it, somebody saw me the other day and said, congratulations, you're the first person to get a license for the first ever TEDx for young people in over 50 years that this city has existed. You know, I've been a radio presenter, an award-winning radio presenter. And when people see me, they talk about all these great things that I have done or I am doing. Somebody told me one day, you must have gotten this confidence right from when you were 15. You must have just known what you were supposed to do with your life. You see, the truth is, what you see me do today is very far from who I thought I was. I studied engineering. I spent 6 years in school studying engineering. I failed 1 unit, and I had to spend 2 extra years, making it 8 years in total, trying to get an engineering degree. You see, every single time I spent in that class, every single time I spent solving math or doing something related to engineering, felt like I was trying to breathe underwater. One day I left my class. It was close to my graduation. I was going out, and I was just by the corridor there, and I leaned my head against the wall. nobody saw this because everybody was thinking that, this should be what you want, The script in my house is be an engineer because my father was an engineer. That was what success looked like in my house. So that was what I was also trying to pursue because that's what I've always seen all my life. My father worked with an oil company, Ajip, for over 15 years, retired, and they gave him a gold medal. And that was success. But that day when I leaned my head against the wall close to my graduation, and I just felt very hollow. I felt very empty. I asked myself a question that has stuck with me till today. Is this my life or am I living someone else's script? I graduated with honors, went on to get a job, but I still felt empty. My dad was happy, my mom was happy. Their son is now an engineer. But I still felt very empty because nobody has ever walked on the inside of me. One day somebody asked me a question. They said, "Who are you, Zion?" And I said, very happy, I said, "I'm an engineer." And he said, "No, I'm asking, who are you, not what you studied." I said, "Is there a difference?" He said, "Yes. There's a difference between who you are and what you studied." I've always thought that I was an engineer because that's what I saw success to be. And that was the day, 2 years after graduation, that I went on this search to find me. I went inside and I used a tool that I discovered called MBTI, the Myers-Briggs type indicator. You see, when I did the MBTI test, people say, "Oh, it's just another quiz." But for me, it was deeper than that. It was a mirror. For the first time in a long time, I saw me. I understood why I hated with depth the courses that I took in my engineering class. And I have nothing against engineers. We will not have the good things we have today, like all the technology and the buildings without engineers. So I have deep respect for them. But that was not me. I was not an engineer. I found out that I was a communicator. I found my gift. I found that I was built to help others find their gift. I found out through that test that I was a storyteller. I found out that what I thought was wrong with me, which was being a talkative, was the thing that was actually right with me. You see, I then asked myself a question. I wasted 8 years trying to live a script, trying to live another person's dream. How many young people today are currently trying to live a script of either a father, a mother, an auntie, or someone out there without actually discovering who they are? I looked at that test result and I cried because it just confirmed what I've always felt about myself. My result was ENFJ, extroverted, intuitive, feeling, judging. Nobody ever taught me that before. So I wasn't born to be an engineer. I was born to help young people continue to find their voice. And the picture you see here, it's just a recent picture of my time back in Africa, where I went to help 27 young people find their voice. I call the program Design My Future because I believe that you can't define a future for a young person. You have to help them design it. Let me take you back to engineering, even if I told you I didn't like it so much. Every single skyscraper you see today is standing tall because of how deep the foundation is. But sometimes we focus with young people on the height and not the depth. The struggles the young person is going through right now might be part of the depth that is building them. Their scars, their silence, maybe they need that time to find themselves. You see, when we give young people enough depth with self-discovery, then they will truly, like a skyscraper, rise. So, what is one tool? I mean, I use several tools when I do my work with young people, but what is one tool that I will suggest for parents, guardians, youth workers in the room today? Start with MBTI. Start with the Myers-Briggs type indicator. It is not just a test. It is a mirror. It's going to help the young person understand their specific wiring. It's going to help the young person understand why they act the way they do, what they came on earth with, what their gift is, what their talents are, what they're supposed to study, their weaknesses, their strengths, their opportunities. MBTI is how we start this inside job with young people. When a young person does the MBTI, most of the time, just like I screamed when I finished my first test, they stop saying, what is wrong with me? They start asking, what is right with me? Because what is wrong with them that you currently scream about might be the exact thing that is right with them. They start saying, now I get it. I get why I don't like school. I get why probably I don't like this course and this class. I get why probably I want to be alone most of the time. I get why I like music. I get why I like to draw. I get why I like to paint. Now they can actually get it. And when a young person gets it, they can grow it. And this is why I created the framework I use today. Because I was that young man, I was that young person that nobody helped discover his voice. I was that young person that spent 8 years of their life trying to live a script without a voice. 8 years trying to be someone else's definition of success. That is why I called my framework Voice. Because I help young people discover their voice. And when a young person discovers their voice, they can go into society and then stand with their head held high. Because now they understand how to believe in themselves because they already have a self to believe in. They know what they are believing in. They can have self-esteem because they know what is in them that they can esteem. We start with vision discovery. When I walk around, when I work with councils, when I work with schools, when I work with young people, we start first with vision discovery. We help them find that spark in them. We use the tools I've just talked about, MBTI. We use tools like the rethink test. We use tools like the life path number to help them find that spark, to help them know how they're wired differently. And then we help them own what they found. We help them own their identity. And then we help them build skills. Because we understand that the skills that will be needed for the jobs and businesses of tomorrow might be different from what we have today. But we build the skills with them based off of what they've discovered about themselves. Communication skills. We build skills in them that helps them get resilience and all that. And then we then connect them to careers that match what they've discovered about themselves. And then the last, we allow them execute. They go into the real world. Because now they go into the real world not with the script that somebody gave them, with what they've discovered and developed and are ready to deploy in the world. So to adults in the room, I know you love your young people. I know you care for them. But stop trying to fix them from the outside in. Because every single time we point a finger at a young person and say, why don't they get it? Why can't they listen? Why would they not just hear what I'm saying? Why don't you stop going with that friend? Whenever we point a finger at a young person, 3 fingers points back to us. So you don't need to fix a young person. You just need to help a young person understand themselves. Because If you help a young person understand themselves, it doesn't just change their future, it also changes yours. If we start by helping the young person see what is inside of them, if we start inside, maybe, just maybe, we can help a young person rise. Because in the end, it's an inside job. Thank you.